My next guest is a Tea Party Republican who voted to raise the debt ceiling this summer. But when the time comes to vote on the president's new Buffett tax, will he stand his ground or will he vote with the president? Here to discuss is another conservative Republican, Texas Congressman Michael Burgess. Congressman Burgess, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Your Honor, it's always great to be with you.
Congressman Burgess, can government spending produce prosperity or can only private investment produce prosperity?
Well, it doesn't seem to be working so far, does it? If you just analyze it from the various stimuli bills that have come across. And you're watching the president 2 weeks ago and today. It almost is like he took James Carville's advice and now he's panicking. He keeps putting out proposals. They're the same proposals that he's put out before. No legislative language comes to the House of Representatives, and it is essentially making an argument via press conference and soundbite. It didn't work in August. It's not going to work now.
Then why did so many Republicans, leadership among them and you among them, Congressman Burgess, vote to let the president borrow another $2.4 trillion? Why didn't you keep his feet to the fire and force the government to operate within the means of the revenue that it collects? The Republican Party could have done that in the House on its own if they had stayed to their small government principles.
At some risk. And of course, now we both have the benefit of hindsight of the last 6 weeks, but realistically, going past that August 2nd date, in my opinion, would have put us into a position of the unknown. And having been in Congress in September of 2008, voting against the bailout and watching the difficulty that the country was going through then, we have none of the tools to deal with a credit freeze that were used in 2008. The Fed has spent all of its money. The bailout money has been spent. The stimulus money has been spent. A credit freeze after August 2nd this year would have been absolutely devastating to the American economy, and I quite frankly could not go there. Now, was it a good deal? The answer is no, it wasn't.
Right.
And Standard & Poor did proceed with the downgrade.
Right.
We all know that now, but with the benefit of hindsight even, I'd vote the same way. It was, my political career is not worth sacrificing my country.
You would vote the same way or you wouldn't?
No, I would, because, again, we were veering into the unknown, and I can't tell you that with any conviction that I knew what was going to happen. Look, if nothing else, we were turning the entire reins of government over to Barack Obama and Timothy Geithner after August 2nd had we not passed an extension of the debt limit. That's a fact. It was going to happen. And the president had already telegraphed what he was going to do. He was going to scare people to death. I'm going to hold up your Social Security. I won't pay veterans. I'm not going to pay soldiers. We didn't need that kind of discussion. We didn't need that kind of panic enveloping the country after August 2nd.
I do have to pick a bone with you on one other thing where you just said the Fed has spent all of its money. By definition, the Fed has never spent all of its money because they have what nobody else on the planet has, or at least in the country, a printing press.
Yeah, they got a press.
All right.
Yeah,
let me ask
right.
you if you agree with your colleague, Congressman Tom Graves, who believes that the president's two tax proposals, the one from last week on people over $200,000 and $250,000 and the one today, the so-called tax on the rich, are both dead on arrival in the House of Representatives, Congressman Burgess?
Well, Judge, they're not serious proposals. He is arguing by photo op and talking points. There is no legislative language on the jobs proposal when he said it's an emergency, I've got to come talk to the Congress on Wednesday night, then Thursday night. But no legislative language has come and been introduced in the House. Harry Reid introduced a bill over in the Senate, but there's actually no language attached to that. So that was a specious argument. And this thing today, is he talking about going back and relitigating the debt limit discussions when he didn't get his way on the $4 trillion that included tax increases? I don't know. Is he going to veto the work of the Group of 12? I don't know. He confused the issue, in my mind, a great deal today, and I don't think he did himself or the country any favors.
Congressman Michael Burgess from the Lone Star State. The next time you're here, we're going to ask you about the two Republicans running from Texas, neither of whom you support, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.